How does a game studio create two of the most influential franchises in gaming history, and then walk away from both of them? Bungie built Halo, the game that defined the original Xbox. Years later, they created Destiny, one of the biggest live service shooters ever made. Both became massive successes. Both shaped the entire industry. And yet, Bungie eventually stepped away from each one. Now, they're betting their future on a completely different game. Marathon. A reboot of a franchise most modern gamers barely remember, in a genre that's already crowded and controversial. So the big question is simple. Is Bungie about to create another legendary franchise, or repeat the same cycle that's followed them for decades? To understand that, we need to rewind all the way back to the beginning, long before Halo, before Destiny. And before anyone thought Bungie would become one of the most important studios in gaming history. Back in 1991, Bungie was literally a garage operation. No giant offices, no massive teams, just a handful of developers trying to make games for Macintosh computers, which barely had a gaming audience. Their first game reportedly sold only a few hundred copies. But it proved they could actually make and sell a game. That momentum led them to release Pathways into Darkness, a strange mix of shooter mechanics and horror storytelling. It sold around 20,000 copies, a huge success for the tiny Mac community. But Bungie's real breakthrough came a year later. In 1994, they released a game called Marathon. While it was often compared to Doom, Bungie added ideas that were far ahead of their time. The game allowed players to aim vertically. It supported 8-player multiplayer. It even had dual-wielding weapons long before that was common. For Mac players, Marathon was a revelation. But before they reached Halo, Bungie nearly destroyed itself. In 1997, they surprised everyone by releasing a real-time strategy game called Myth: The Fallen Lords. It was dark, tactical, and a massive hit. Naturally, a sequel followed. But right before Myth 2 shipped, testers discovered something horrifying. Uninstalling the game could delete your entire hard drive. Today, a patch could fix that instantly. But in 1998, Bungie faced a brutal decision. They could release it anyway, or recall every single copy. They chose the second option. They pulled the game from shelves, opened thousands of boxes by hand, replaced the discs, and shipped them back out. The process cost the company around $800,000. But the community noticed Bungie did the right thing. And ironically, the financial damage pushed them toward the deal that would change gaming forever. Around this time, Bungie had begun working on a strange new project called Halo. Then Microsoft stepped in. The company was about to launch its first console, the Xbox, and they desperately needed a killer game. In 2000, Microsoft bought Bungie. Halo became an Xbox exclusive, and Bungie created the game that would redefine console gaming. When Halo Combat Evolved launched in 2001, it solved the clunky feel of console shooters. They introduced the twin-stick aiming system that's still standard today. They limited players to 2 weapons, forcing strategic decisions. All of these ideas sound normal now, but at the time, they were revolutionary. Then came Halo 2 in 2004, which changed multiplayer gaming forever through Xbox Live 2. Halo 3 followed in 2007, becoming one of the biggest entertainment launchers in history. Bungie had accomplished the impossible. Halo 1 reinvented console shooters. Halo 2 revolutionized online multiplayer. Halo 3 perfected the formula. But just when it seemed like Bungie would make Halo forever, they walked away. After splitting from Microsoft, Bungie signed a massive 10-year deal with Activision to goal: create the next mega franchise. That franchise became Destiny. When Destiny launched in 2014, the hype was enormous, but players quickly noticed problems. the story felt confusing, and missions were repetitive. Still, one thing kept players hooked: the shooting. Bungie's gunplay was still the best in the industry. Expansions like the Taken King and Forsaken dramatically improved the game, winning back the community. Then in 2019, Bungie made another dramatic move. They split from Activision, taking the Destiny franchise with them. But the next decision sparked one of Destiny's biggest controversies. In 2020, Bungie introduced the Content Vault, removing older paid-for content from the game to keep its size manageable. Entire campaigns and locations vanished. Many fans were furious. Despite that, Destiny continued to evolve, and the Witch Queen expansion was considered one of the series' best. Then, behind the scenes, something huge happened. In 2022, Sony purchased Bungie for $3.6 billion. The price shocked many analysts, but Sony wanted Bungie's expertise in live-service games, and they were betting on Bungie's next project. In 2023, Bungie revealed Marathon. The new version was an extraction shooter, a risky genre. Reactions were mixed, and controversy soon followed over art similarities. When the game hypothetically launched in March 2026, it reached a respectable 88,000 players on Steam alone, but questions remained. Which leads to the biggest question of all. After spending $3.6 billion, is Sony satisfied? Bungie has a pattern. They built Marathon and left it. They built Halo and left it. They built Destiny and now they're pivoting again. For decades, Bungie has thrived on reinvention. But this time, the stakes are higher than ever. If Marathon becomes another legendary franchise, Bungie will prove they can reshape the industry whenever they want. But if it fails, it could determine the future of Bungie itself.